Hey guys, going live today with Miss Sherri Wilson and Chase Scroggins. Chase is our Director of Agent Growth here at Real Estate Expert Advisors. Thank you so much for coming on today, Sherri. Just wanted to a quick background about Sherri. She joined us in 2017. Over the last 3 years, she sold over $36 million worth of real estate year in, year out. And that's not with having a team of buyer agents. That's her production, just on a nice, consistent pace each and every year, right around $12 million or so. But also, one thing that really stands out to me about Sherri is that it seems that she also, not only with doing massive amounts of business, she also lives like a good balanced life, which I know, I guess, for all of us, sometimes it can seem like maybe it's not behind the scenes, but when you're at the house and like with our kids and stuff, because life happens and things, but it seems like she does get to have a good time in her life. She gets to do some traveling and spending time with the family, but also being, a massive agent, in the marketplace. One thing that I did want to bring up today, obviously it being September 11th, is I just wanted to, of course, in memory of 9/11, just say how much we love this country, how much we appreciate this country, and everything that it stands for. I can still remember where I was that moment that the first plane crashed into the towers. Do y'all remember that?
I remember it vividly. I remember the driving the car and getting out of the car and coming. I was in college, so I was walking through my college campus.
Yeah, walking to your college campus. Where were you at, Chase?
I was in like first grade, so I don't really remember much. Probably a recess or something.
He was in first grade. That's good.
Thanks,
I was
Chase.
not in first grade. I'm a lot older than both of you. I was headed to work during that period of time, but and I think just with all the challenges going on in the world right now, what if every day was like September the 12th? Just how united America was that day after September 11th. That was the most patriotic that I remember the country ever being. So just a memory of everyone, September 11th, all the folks in our military that, fights for our freedom and all that good stuff. We just want to say thank you for that. Without further ado, Miss Sherri, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm a little bit older than Chase, so we'll begin with that. No, I'm a wife of a husband that he owns and runs his own business. So entrepreneurial runs from my grandparents to my parents to his parents to him as well. I've been in the business for 15 years now. I have 3 children, extremely active. We invest a lot into our kids. They're all in sports, some of them into sports and other activities. So we're pretty go lifestyle.
Well, and they're very good at sports too, don't they? Do like travel ball and
yeah.
Is it Riley, the older one, that's planning for college?
Yeah, she just turned 16, so we just did the whole car thing, and now we're looking at a few colleges. She's on a travel team, school team. The little one's on a rec team, a travel team, and then my son's on football as well.
So y'all stay busy, even outside of real estate. You stay very busy.
Absolutely.
When did you get in real estate? You remember which year it was?
Okay, now you're gonna put me on the spot. 15 years ago. So Riley was, I'd actually wanted to do it when I was 18, and the headstrong person that I am went and talked to some really big brokerages in town at the time, and I was very abruptly told, absolutely not, you're too young, you can't do this. and the doors kind of slammed on me, which just kind of fueled the fire. So I put it on the back burner, and then went into the medical field and worked internal medicine, then OBGYN, and then had Riley. And then I was a stay-at-home mom, and she was about 4 months old, and I went back to school to get my real estate license.
Why was it that you decided to get into real estate in the first place? What was it that drew you to real estate?
I honestly, I think it's just something natural bred in me. I have a servant's heart. I very much like to help people, protect people. I love getting to know all facets of different folks, especially families. And then I do just that. I go to bat and I treat them just as if they were my own. So that's just kind of how and who and what I am.
So you do it to help people and to serve your community. That's why you got it.
I know I can make a difference if I'm the one assisting.
And obviously you do make a difference, over $36 million worth of difference, which is not have to pull the numbers on how many families and individuals that you served in that 36 million, but I would say roughly about 140.
I know when we had our annual meeting, we always have an annual meeting in the company, and it's individualized to each person on what your goals are and how we're going to game plan to attain them. And a lot of people usually go in with numbers or whatnot. I usually want the higher volume in sales or the more amount of families that I can meet. So I think I'm closing anywhere from 40 to 50 per year. That's a lot of families.
Yes, ma'am, it is, especially when there may be some that are watching or will watch the replay that, to bring that to perspective, like, hey, is that really good or is that not good? But the average real estate agent sells around 5 homes per year. So, and that's where they've been in the business for 2 months or 20 years. That's what the average real estate agent sells annually. So to be, doing, not to compare you to others, but, if we were to, that's 1,000% better than the average real estate agent. You're 10xing what the average is in the business. So amazing job. What was it? Do you remember what it was like when you were brand new in real estate?
Oh gosh, yes. Didn't have a clue. I mean, to be honest, I always tell people, I think I remember when I came into Real Estate Expert Advisors, I've been with some amazing people through different brokerages. But honestly, there was no training. There was no, this is how we do this, other than maybe inputting your paperwork or figuring out who's going to buy the sign, where do you get the signs, and vendors like that. There was no real training in the business, which is super, super terrifying. You learn from your mistakes, and there were years of mistakes and learning. But I remember Jason, after the first week that I came into training, and it was strenuous training at the least. I don't know if I looked scared to death like a deer in headlights or if my eyes are watering, but I remember Jason looking straight at me going, "Are you okay?" And I was just overwhelmed. I was like, I've been in the business for, at that time, I think 11 and a half years, 12, somewhere in there. And thought I was doing pretty good on my own. And I just was overcome with the fact of I didn't know what I didn't know. And it kind of like shook me to my core a little bit, because I felt like without me knowing, I could have done so much more for people that I'd already assisted. So that was probably one of the turning points of, by George, I'm seeing this thing through.
Yeah, that's funny. Chase and I did a video yesterday, and we and just for everybody out there, like, I close my eyes. I have ADHD at the yin yang, so I close my eyes, and I found out through doing neuro-linguistics programming training of my own brain that I turn off through your visuals. 70% of your thinking power comes through visuals. So obviously when you close your eyes, it allows me to think at a higher level, and that's usually when I bring the most value too. So just in case someone wonders, like, why does he keep closing his eyes? That's why. But anyway, so that was a big breakthrough. And what I was getting at is that Chase and I were speaking about a book. Some of y'all may have heard of David Goggins. He was in the book Living with the Seal that Jesse Itzler wrote, that Jesse Isler's the husband of Sarah Blakely, which is the founder of Spanx. But he also wrote his own book that's called Can't Hurt Me. I just did start that book about 2 or 3 days ago. I'm about halfway through with it. And I read via Audible. But anyway, is what he said in Living with the Seal, and he may say it in this book too, but I just hadn't got that part, is that when you think that you're at 100%, like you're at your full capacity, that's all that you can do. When you think you're at 100%, you're really not. You're at 40%. And just what Miss Sherri was explaining right there is that when she came to Real Estate Expert Advisors, and one thing that this is not is a sales pitch for Real Estate Expert Advisors. We're just here to see how you got to where you are right now, which is amazing. But you had that point where you thought you were at 100%, and then you had a huge breakthrough that, hey, maybe I'm not at 100%. And,
right.
I've already done some growing, and I have even more capacity, within you, which is, big. That's where people have breakthroughs, and congratulations for doing so. How many different brokerage have you worked at through the years?
I was trying to think about that. I believe it's been 1, 2, 3, 4.
4, including Real Estate Expert Advisors, or
yeah, this is number 4.
So what made you decide to join Real Estate Expert Advisors when you came here?
I think at the point where I was, my marketing, I was independent. So, I didn't have a team backing. I had started a team and it just wasn't working out. Like I said, it was a lot of trial and error. I was spending, I don't know, roughly $2,000 a month on marketing. And then I was having to babysit the marketing, and it took me away from being with the people, which is where my heart was, what my calling was for. So I went searching for, I don't know. You feel like when you're in the business, you're like, I feel like there's something else, there's something more. There's that gotcha that I just couldn't figure out on my own. And so I went and interviewed with a couple different pretty big brokerages looking for more of maybe someone in the corporate area knows more, right? The only hard time I had was I needed a company that would match my ethics. So I needed somebody who wasn't going to be about just the dollar and about the close. I needed to be about the person and the client, because again, that's where my servant's heart is. And that's how I best rest at night. But now I forgot the question. I totally went off on a tangent. I forgot the question.
Why did you come here? And it sounds like and that's one thing that I didn't know, or actually, I think I did know it. I just forgot that you had a team, a small team back in the day, which I guess I'm going to hit you with another question. How was it going, for your team that you had? What did that look like? I'm sure you had some success with it.
Yeah, and I did. And again, it goes back to that servant's heart. I absolutely love bouncing ideas, fresh new, keeping cutting edge, helping people, training people, teaching them how to structure offers. That I really, really, really enjoyed. I even enjoy the computer work, believe it or not. The negotiation, the hashing it out, knowing that feeling of seeing a new agent get to that point of meeting a family, falling in love with that family, showing that house, finding that house, winning the deal, getting to that is an amazing, amazing feeling. That is definitely probably the highest honor in the business, is going through that whole thing, that whole emotional roller coaster, knowing you did your very best. But it's also scary. It's terrifying. And I felt like there again, I had a lot of trial and error, and I wanted to go back. I needed to go back and get my master's per se. I needed to go back and get more experience before I just jumped in. I was tired of let me see if I'm going to sink or swim. I was over that. So it's time to basically go back to school for it.
When you had a team, what did your team consist of? Was it a buyer agent or two, or what was the makeup?
No. Honestly, I would say it was me trying to break the mold of helping other agents who were brand new in the market, not make the mistakes I had, and going ahead and jump starting them so they knew how to do the contracts, they knew how to set stuff up, helping them I paid all the marketing. That was probably my biggest mistake there. And again, it was just a lot of trial and error. I still very much care about the folks. I'm still in contact with the folks that I helped, as well as the families. And we did well. We did good. We did very good together. But it was still not where my calling was, I guess is best how to say
What was
that.
your biggest challenge, would you say, when you were managing a team? Because that's one thing that I think, when you're going to build and grow a team, that a lot of people overlook is that there's a leadership ability that you have to acquire over time. None of us are born with it. And it even comes down to your first hire, really. And that's, I'm always evolving. Chase, we're all leaders. Everyone on this call is a leader, whether it be leading a family, leading a team, or whatever you're leading. All of us are leaders. But what would you say that your number one challenge was?
Probably just being in the behind the scenes, taking on marketing and taking on, at the time it was billboards, mailers, cold calls, all kind of training that went in behind it. It was too much. It was too much for me to come in by myself, a single agent, and take on that huge outfit. It was, my whole heart and idea and process was a lot bigger than I was, and I just didn't have the help or the assistance or the know-how. So it was just a lot of, like I said, trial and error, guessing here, there, trying this, that. So it was a lot of stress.
Man. And so the golden question, the golden goose question is, how have you been able to consistently sell around $12 million annually over the last 3 years?
There's a couple different things. You have to have the coaching, you have to have the experience, you have to have the know-how. But really, I think what makes the difference is having a team that's with you, that's just as hungry, just as excited. We have, in salespeople, we have a marketing team. We have so many behind the scene folks, as well as very high producing, hungry agents who still have a heart and a calling for it. They're not out there, again, just to make one quick transaction. I like to say, I'm not in it about a customer. I don't want or need another customer in my life, right? I want that client. I want that bond. I want that return or that word of mouth or whatever it is. Like, I have one family, I've closed 6 different transactions in that one family. That says something. That's amazing.
That says a lot. That says how great of a job that you do, that you create lifelong clients.
Right. It doesn't matter their price point. It ranges from 100,000 to $1 million plus, all within the the same family realm, and that's what it's about. And I think I feel that reciprocated, not just in myself. It's a matching of like-mindedness, ethics. Yet we're all still hungry. It never gets old. It's always changing. It's a mass market kind of thing. We're not here just to sell signs and put signs in the yard and sell homes real quick. You got to be constantly changing and growing. And if you're not, then you're going to be at the back of the line.
Yes, ma'am. Where you have to watch it is, as some of my friends have described it, some of the peers in the industry, the transactional treadmill. Where you got to watch out for the transactional treadmill, that, if doing $12 million of business consistently for the next 10 years, there's got to be a purpose behind it. And I think you've done a great job of already articulating your purpose. But how has it changed your life and your family's life by doing what you've done over the past 3 years?
I mean,
what's
when
it allowed you to do?
It's pretty simple when you break it down. It's, again, being around like-minded folks, having the coaching in place, having the systems in place, and putting it in play. Then it's a matter of, okay, I got to go meet someone new. And when you keep that concept on the forefront and I get to help someone, that was another thing that kind of flipped the script for me. It wasn't about, oh my goodness, am I going to get this? Am I going to get that? Am I going to close this? Am I going to close that? It's, I can't wait to meet someone new. And then sit down, listen, do the work, know who they are, get enveloped with where they are, what it is their goals are, and then go to work. I mean, it's pretty simple. I think
has your I obviously, has your income increased over the past 3 years?
A little bit. No,
Yeah.
I think I was closing like 1.2, 1.3, somewhere in there per year, independent. That was me, myself, by myself. So yeah, 11 to 12 per year is a slight increase.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting to. My question was, has that increased your quality of life, not just in business, but how has it affected other areas in your life? From your growth in real estate, how's that affected? Maybe how your family vacations, or not being behind on bills, or whatever it is to you.
Yeah, well, 3 kids, and then coming from a really large family, we have college, we have wedding, we have our children's goals, we have our goals, we have retirement. We love the lake, we love to ride motorcycles, we love the beach, and we very are lucky to get to appreciate and enjoy all of those things with our kids. So that's pretty nice.
Love it. It sounds like you are still able to do those things that you want to do with your family, and hobbies that you may have. I see that you travel and go to the lake and stuff like that, or especially traveling. I may have been wrong on the lake part. Y'all go to the lake too, right?
Oh yeah, we love the lake. We love boating. We love fishing, riding Harleys. Yep, and softball and football. That's pretty much where we are right now.
So, which is amazing, that I think that when an agent, not an agent just selling a bunch of business, that's not hard to do. You can work, 120 hours a week, someone that's massively driven, and sell $12 million in real estate, which ultimately I think that people will hit a big brick wall at some point. It's not sustainable doing that and not having a life. Because as Tony Robbins says, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. If you're doing $12 million in real estate and never see your family, and life is falling apart around you, that's not success. So it sounds like that you've been able to, do more of what you want, when you want, and how you want, and playing all out in life, if I'm hearing you right.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that was my biggest, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because my oldest is turning 16 and you start to get that, oh my goodness, she's going to leave the nest soon. She's got college, she's got her own world now. She's not just here for me to boss around anymore. She's growing into her own little adult there, and her goals and dreams are coming into play. So for me to be a part of that, that's my ultimate goal is make it about them.
Is she a little Sherri?
She's super motivated, definitely motivated. Some would say a little hard-headed, not going to give up. She definitely fights for what she wants, but she's a little more reserved and quiet, I would say. But yeah, she's got a little touch to her of me. Yeah.
That's awesome. So how are you able to sell $12 million in real estate year after year, but also maintain that balance that you have?
Again, it's knowing what works and working it. So I like to tell a lot of clients this, anybody can put a sign, anybody can fill out paperwork, anybody can throw it in the MLS. But if you're not working it from before you get it listed all the way till after the deal is closed, you're not really doing everything that needs to be done, right? There's any caveat where you can miss out for the client. Systems in place. You need to know, you need to have those systems in place. You need to have a team behind you. You need to have the best marketing. You need to have, and that's not just for the property, but that's for everything, right? Online presence, multiple listing presence, who you know, how you know, you need tip-top negotiation expert skills. And if you don't have that and you don't have a team to back you, there's a lot of things that could go wrong, and they're very, very costly.
Yes, ma'am. What kind of recommendations would you make, like to a newer agent, or maybe it's not even a newer agent. Maybe it's an agent that is right now where you were 4 years ago? Like, are there any kind of recommendations that you would make that would help them out?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't be afraid and don't give up. That's probably the top two is jump in, jump all in, and hang on tight. If I can do it, anybody can do it, but you're going to have to put the work in. And the other thing I like to say is a lot of people will come up and they're like, oh, I want to do what you do. And that's always a huge compliment, right? And I love looking in houses. I love being nosy. I love looking around. And that's immediately when my pointers go out. And I'm thinking, yeah, this may not be the field for you. It's not about opening doors. You're not a personal shopper for someone. You need to be ready to go in with the skill set to win out the best.
What is it like? And that's a very great topic for us to end off with, because we're here to help people out, and I think that that may even be a reason why the failure rate in real estate as an industry is so high, that it's over 80% that first year agent that's looking to do this full time won't make it to the second year. And maybe that's one of the things, is that really the industry is not shooting people straight from the hip. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people think that, hey, it's just about opening doors, and hey, I like to look at homes. I would love to be a real estate agent. It looks really easy what you do, Miss Sherri. So what does it really look like? Yes, a tiny bit of it is opening doors, a tiny bit maybe being what, a 0.5% of it. What's the other stuff that you have to do for folks that you can't see behind the scenes? If you don't mind taking us for a little peek behind the scenes, not chasing, but taking those on the call that maybe thinking about getting into real estate.
Probably the number one thing, and probably the hugest complaint that I know I'm not the only one that hears this, is you hear clients, I just don't feel like the person's listening to me. I don't think they're hearing me. I don't think they're have my needs top of mind. You got to have a little psychology behind it. You have to have a servant's heart for it. Then you need to back it with expertise. If you don't have the know-how, the power, and you're not hungry to grow and be coached and always, contracts, market, there's so many variables that change almost every interest rates, lending. There's so many things that change, right? And if you're not willing to go there, are you really willing to be the representation of someone who's buying or selling their biggest investment? Truly. Looking at people's houses and stuff, that's the easy part, right?
Yeah. Now, and I agree, and you just triggered something else that made me want to ask one more question. And, obviously you list and you sell a lot of homes. Have you ever represented like one of your sellers or a buyer, and then been like, dang, that agent on the other end, they aren't experienced, and they just cost their client a lot of money, which unfortunately, I know you're a great human, and I know that hurts your heart even if it's not your client, but it is your job and your duty to represent the people that you're legally representing, in a listing agreement or a buyer brokerage agreement. Can you think of a story that may have happened without mentioning names?
Sure. You see it from lenders, you see it to agents, you see it to brokerages. You see, again, if you're not being mindful of someone, if it's somebody else's $200,000, $300,000, couple $1,000 when they're making a deal, the way I look at it is it's my job to represent them, and it's my job to represent the monies that they're investing, right? From the seller side, I've seen incident after incident after incident where, sure, yeah, go ahead, drop $2,000, $3,000, put your earnest monies here, pay your appraisals here, pay your inspections here, and the deal didn't work. Well, guess what? They're on to the next client, and that poor buyer's sitting there easily 3, 4, however many thousands of dollars in. That's money spent, which there again prevents them from doing what? Their ultimate goal of buying a home. Whether that home was a perfect home or wasn't a perfect home, really it's just the fact that no one was even looking out for them. No one was going to bat for them. No one was considering the possible failures. That's a scary thought.
Yes, ma'am. I had, again, more than just opening doors. I had had a client, there's a seller, client of mine, and it was about a year ago or so. But the the agent that was representing the buyer missed the due diligence period, which is the inspection period. And then they came back with a lengthy list like a day or two after that period was over. And it was over $12,000 worth of items. And the agent was still expecting us, the seller, and, to fix these items. And, representing our client, we were like, sorry, we aren't doing that, because, this property sold as is. And it was just like that. They lost their client $12,000.
Or I've seen them where the appraisal was forgotten about, on the lender, the agent, all the representation, and then they want to come back. I've seen it where, it's not going to close, so we're day before closing. We're just going to bump it out because lending needs 2 more weeks. But things, if you don't know the contracts in and out, and you don't know how to negotiate, navigate, again, who are you risking?
Or not organized. And that's probably one of the biggest threats, even especially with high producing salespeople. All 3 of us on the call right here, is that, organizational skills of what I've seen, being around thousands of salespeople over the past 20 years, the better they get, the least organized they are. And I think it really comes down to, having people beside you, like you mentioned earlier, that covers some of our weaknesses that we have, especially when you're doing a lot of business at a high level. It's kind of like a safety net. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
Thank goodness for the people that we have, that holds our hand during the process, and remind us of things, so we don't cost people a lot of money. Can you think of that happening on one of your deals, Chase? Like, where you're like, holy crap, that agent just lost a lot of money. Now, why are we doing this?
For sure.
I'm not doing it to knock the industry. I'm mentioning these things that no matter where you get educated, please make sure, if you're a real estate agent, that you go somewhere to raise your knowledge. If you want to change your results, the very first thing you have to do is raise your standards. And whether it's here or it's somewhere else, this is people's biggest investments, that we're dealing with. But anyway, go ahead, Chase.
Yeah, I was just going to say it happens all the time. And it can even be, even if it's not to the extent of $12,000, it's even the most simple conversation sometimes can negatively impact the client. And it really, really matters. And one thing that I tell people now is, like, let's say you had $2,000 in your wallet and that was stolen from you, that would feel really, really bad, right? Well, it's no different with your house. Just because you don't see the money in front of you in the form of cash, it's in your house. So sometimes even the simple conversation that an agent has could cost you that same $2,000. So it's very, very important to who you work with.
Absolutely.
Well, hey, Miss Sherri, I sure do appreciate you coming on with Chase and I. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you wanted to end with?
No. All the consumers out there, everybody is being their own realtor. Everything's at the fingertips, right? Everybody's online. Everybody knows how to pick a house. Remember that looking at the house, that's not even the beginning of the battle. You need to make sure that if you're on the buy side, you've got someone who's expert and who can go out there and look for things that you need to be aware of, as well as structuring you out a deal and have your best interest. And if you're looking to list, there's thousands and thousands that you can risk if you are not prepared and don't set it up properly prior to listing the home.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ms. Sherri. And for anyone that is on the call now or seeing this recording, if you would like to have more information on a career with Real Estate Expert Advisors, Chase is our Director of Agent Growth. You can call or text Chase at 404-680-4324, as everyone can probably see that on the screen as well. Or you could also reach out to him via Facebook, Chase Scroggins, and send him an inbox, and he'll have a confidential, no obligation call with you just to see how we can help you out. And I sure do appreciate both of you. Anything you want to end with, Mr. Chase?
The only thing I would end it with is just, saying thank you to Sherri. She's literally, I mean, we have many perfect examples here on the team, but she is one of the perfect examples of what we do here, which is work hard, play hard. I literally spoke with someone earlier today who was interested in joining the team. And one of the things she said was, hey, I'm not afraid to work a lot, but I want to work when I want to, not just because I have to. And what I found through her was that she had no leverage of her time, so she wasn't able to spend time with her family. And I'm like, well, hey, we got, one of our top producers, Sherri, she's at the softball field like every weekend, and she's killing it. So she's a perfect example. Really appreciate you sharing your story, Sherri.
Thank you.
Well, hey, everybody, have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.